Hello.
And welcome to Don't Get Your Hopes Up. Sorry, I want to see how long we can it's like dramatic pause, overly dramatic pause. Okay, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
Welcome to Don't Get Your Hopes Up. If you were listening to the last episode, you would have known that we had a mini hiatus.
Yes.
Because someone decided to go and see the world.
Yes. Well, part of it.
Part of it. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess this is part of it, I suppose.
It's not. England is not the rest of the planet outside of my door. Yes. But yeah, I went over to England, a nice little extended holiday vacation. It was really nice. It was really cold.
You were there for a long time.
I was, yeah, 3.5 weeks. I was over there, which was super cool.
Can you like later spin that as I went backpacking across Europe?
Yeah, that's what I did the whole time. That's why it was so cold, because I was outside the entire time.
Your backpack wasn't very warm.
Yeah, it wasn't.
So
I decided it was gonna be just like California, so I only packed shorts and t-shirts.
You know, we know people that live there, like a lot of people.
Yeah.
It would have taken 2 seconds, or maybe less.
I didn't actually only pack shorts and
okay.
t-shirts.
Okay. I don't know, man. Like, you know, well, first off, I figured that the logic here was, well, he lived in Battle Creek, Michigan, which is usually pretty cold. So he probably ran around in shorts and t-shirt out there because he's acclimated to it. So maybe he thought if he went over there and it was cold, fuck, I can just wear shorts and t-shirts because I get away with it. But that's not what happened. You actually took warm clothes.
Yeah, if it weren't for the fact that I've been living in Southern California for 1.5 years, then I probably could have with the temperatures there. Mm-hmm. Like, it was usually around 40 to 50 degrees outside.
Yeah, that's not
which
terrible.
It's chilly but not like freezing.
Yeah.
But coming from 1.5 years of 80 degrees and sunny in Orange County.
You Southern Californians.
Yeah, oh man, it's terrible.
It's rough down there, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. Like, I was walking to my car from the office yesterday, and I got the sense of, oh man, it's such a great day today. It feels like spring, and then I realized we're in the dead of winter. I was like, wait a second.
Like, you can't, what sucks is, like, you can't go and, like, buy cool winter coats or anything. Like, I'm gonna buy this really cool jacket and never wear it because it's never cold, ever. Oh, man,
like, that was the coolest part about being in England, is I got to wear my jacket, like, everywhere. So for this year, for, like, a holiday gift, Blizzard gave everybody in the company this, like, really awesome, like, Blizzard jacket, like, World of Warcraft 10-year anniversary jacket. Ooh. Which is really, really super cool. But it's a jacket, so I literally never wear this thing. So I was like, yeah, I get to wear my jacket everywhere. It's gonna be like, had my hoodie, and I was like wearing my hoodie just around, and like, yeah, this is so cool. And now they're in the closet again because there's no use for them here.
It's kind of a strange thing for a company in Irvine to give to their people. Here's a jacket.
Yeah, and I see so many people wearing them. I see so many people wearing, like, hoodies, and, like, it was... I was going to lunch today even, and was walking to my car, and it was like 80 degrees and like blistering heat, and like I'm standing there in just a t-shirt, like sweating like crazy, and some dude comes walking by wearing like a t-shirt and then a collared shirt and then a hoodie over that with his like hands in his pockets and like his hood up over his head and everything, and I'm like, how are you not dead?
You know, you know who I notice wears like hoodies in like the dead of winter, or I'm sorry, like basically when it's completely unnecessary? Fucking skinny people.
That's true.
Like tall, skinny dudes.
Yeah. Zarim.
I was gonna say Zarim, but I didn't want to call him out.
I have never seen him in not a hoodie. I don't know if he owns other clothing. We went to. He had a show on Huntington Beach a while back for this like beer festival, which was awesome. Yeah. So I went down there to watch, and we're like all on the beach, and like he plays in this like reggae band.
Yeah.
And so everybody else in his band is like wearing shorts and like dreadlocks and like white t-shirt and everything, and he's like sitting back there, hoodie, like on the beach, like zipped all the way up to his neck, and like I swear I can just watch him like shivering sometimes. I'm like, come on, man. Come on,
man. We're on the beach in Southern California.
This was in like August. Like,
oh man.
So yeah, that's the opposite of what my trip to England was like.
So while you were there, what did you get to see?
So I went around. I poked a couple castles. That was cool. They've got them fucking everywhere, so it wasn't hard to find them. So poked at a couple castles. Went around London a bit. Looked at some stuff in London. And that was cool.
Yeah.
Went to the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society.
Oh my God, I bet you were.
Oh man. Oh. So good. So good. They need to open one of those basically in my apartment. Like, I will just wake up every morning and just be like, yes, I will buy this $400 bottle of scotch. Thank you for asking.
From some old guy who's like perpetually cleaning a mug.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
With like a rag.
I'm like, what should I have for breakfast today? I think I'll have the space side.
So wait, did you get to try any food that is like unique to?
Yeah,
England?
I tried a few things. I tried black pudding.
Ooh, what is that?
It's basically, it's not pudding at all. Not how.
Oh my God! It's like
we
their
Americans
biscuit bullshit, isn't it?
No. It's a sausage basically.
Right. No, what I'm saying is it's like how they name foods differently.
Oh yeah, the biscuits are what we call crackers.
Yeah.
They don't have a thing called crackers.
You're just making that up.
They're what we call biscuits. They call scones. Like, and even then they're slightly different, but not terribly. But anyway, yeah.
The black pudding.
The black pudding, yeah. It's like this weird like blood sausage basically. With like a whole bunch of, I think it's like rye or something in it, or barley or something in it. It was very strange. I didn't like it very much. It wasn't very good. But I'm sure all the Brits listening right now are like, how can you possibly dislike black pudding? And it's because it doesn't taste nice. That's how.
A small side note. Speaking of England, I had to tell Olivia what a saltine was.
Oh, really?
Because we were talking about soup.
Oh yeah, I guess they don't.
We were talking about soup, and we're like, oh yeah, crush up some saltine. So then she's like, what's a saltine? It's like, oh, it's like a cracker. She's like, you put crackers in your soup? We're like, what is happening to you? Anyways, I just thought that was amusing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So wait, do you have like a picture of yourself with like, I mean, you went to Paris, right?
Yeah, I went to Paris, and I tweeted a picture of myself standing in front of the Eiffel Tower.
Nice.
With the line, "I'm so Francie," because
I missed that. God damn it.
Because you really know.
That was good. I bet you. Did you come with that on the spot, or did you like plan that ahead in time?
It was like I got up that morning and I was like, I knew we were going to the Eiffel Tower, and I was like, oh my God, I have to do this. Like, so all day I was like, gonna get to the Eiffel Tower, gonna take the picture, gonna tweet it, I'm so Francie, and I would just like chuckle to myself. People around me are like, the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Mission accomplished. I was actually in Vegas, and Lindsay was in. Lindsay is the Zamp brand ambassador. If you don't know, she was actually over there too. She was in Paris and all that, basically doing the whole England thing. About the same time you were actually, and she Snapchatted me a picture of her in front of the Eiffel Tower, and she's all like, "Oh, talking shit, like you wish you were here," kind of thing. And I was like, "Oh, okay." I happened to be at the Paris casino in Vegas. And so I run outside and I snap a photo and send it back. of being in front of the mini Eiffel Tower thing. And I'm like, what's up now? And she didn't even know that I was in Vegas. Like, she was like, what? What the fuck are you?
That's nice.
It was great.
Well done. So yeah, wandered around Paris a bit. Saw the Louvre. Saw the Eiffel Tower. Saw the Notre Dame Cathedral. Saw a whole bunch of Je suis Charlie stuff everywhere, which I thought was actually kind of cool because this was like when I was there, it was like 5 or 6 days after the shootings.
Yeah.
And like the whole city was like, the fuck? No, we're French. Je suis Charlie, and it was just everywhere. Like their city hall had stuff of like that all over it. I thought it was kind of cool that like they were being very adamant that they weren't going to let it get them down and stuff like that. So
yeah, that was good.
Yeah, it was cool.
I mean,
and otherwise,
thing, yeah,
otherwise it was literally just everyday normal. Like there weren't like heavily armed military walking around or anything like that. There weren't people like scared to go out on the streets or anything. It was just like, some stuff happened. Buff. Like,
damn, that must be nice.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that whole thing was nuts because you were over there and Lindsay was over there, and I'm all like, what? Like you were tweeting like you were fine, but Lindsay was actually like in that area, I think.
Yeah, I had planned to go down there like, but my original plan was to go down there the day after the shootings actually happened. Mm-hmm. No, wait, it would have been the day of the shootings, actually, thinking about it. Because I have a friend named Aaron who used to work for Blizzard EU that I was meeting up with in Paris. And like I was sending her a message. I was like, hey, sorry, tomorrow fell through. I'm not going to be able to come until next week. And she's like, okay, yeah, that's fine. And then like the next day the shootings happened. And I was like, damn.
Jesus.
Dodged a bullet there, literally.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah. So that worked out. And then the day after I got back, there was like a big fire in the Eurotunnel. So I just apparently managed to avoid everything.
Yeah, just stay in your hotel.
Yeah.
There's plenty of postcards and flyers. Did you I remember before you left, you were asking about like the NVIDIA shields, and you were looking for something to kind of to help bide your time. What did you end up doing for?
I just ended up getting a bunch of games for my iPad. I was like thinking about it. I was like, yeah, I could buy a shield, or I could buy I was looking into a PS Vita. And I was like, I could buy something like that, but I don't know how much I'm gonna actually use them once I'm back.
Yeah.
And also, there's Monkey Island on iPad, so I just played that instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, shit.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you had a great time.
Borderlands game, which is pretty good. The Tales from the Borderlands that Telltale Games is doing.
Is that good?
Oh yeah.
You have to play it.
Yeah.
I haven't touched my my iPad in a while. Actually, I haven't touched any iOS device like ever since.
Are you back on Android now?
No, well, I'm sorry.
Windows
I should
Phone
say
or
iOS.
something?
I should say iOS. It's just basically like between my phone and my tablets. But even my Android tablets is like collecting dust. Ever since I got PC streaming and my PS4 streaming to work. Well, the PS4 only works with the Shield, but PC streaming to both my laptop downstairs and the Shield, I could basically just play, whatever within reason game I want from my PC and just stream it to like whatever device. And so like I've basically just been playing Space Engineers. Like everywhere I go, I have a dedicated server on this nonsense now, dude. Like,
nice.
I have a dedicated server, and actually, I have to tell you, this happened right before. This is why I told you before. I was like, you're like, hey, I'm good to go to record it, whenever. And I was like, give me a sec. And this is like one of the things that kind of held me back. So this dedicated server. If you watch any of the shows, the Space Bros shows on YouTube, you would have you could find the fucking server on the server list. But it's like an 8 slot. It's only got like about 5 people on at a time. And griefers is kind of an issue right now with space engineers, right? What they do is they spawn in, and they get a respawn. They get a respawn ship, which is basically like a yellow, not a large ship, but it's a decent sized ship. And what they'll do is they'll take that. It's a free ship with a lot of weight behind it, and they will aim it at the nearest relay that a player would build, like a satellite relay, and they will just basically ram it, or the nearest base, or whatever they can find. Basically, the closest thing they can find, they will ram it.
Right.
This guy comes in. He's got a really long name. It looks like Cthulhu, but it was like 10 times the length. And he said, "Oh, it's Russian for Satan. Just call me Satan." And I was like, "Oh God!" Like everyone that comes in that I don't know, I'm like suspect.
Yeah.
Like this guy's gonna be a griefer. And I'm the admin, so I can turn on the admin powers and basically teleport to various places to kind of check on them. So the guy asked a couple questions. He's all like, "Oh yeah, can I? I'm new. Hi, I'm new," which is usually a red flag. "Hi, I'm new." Blah blah blah. We're like, "Okay, cool." And he's like, "Can I join one of your guys' factions?" And we're like, "Nah, you could just earn your keep. Like, go and play for a bit, and maybe eventually you can earn our trust." And even this other new guy, who's only been playing for like 3 hours, is all like 10 out of 10 would suspect, So like, I was and so I told him, I was like, "Yeah, just go like earn your keep, go and play a little bit, and get going, and then maybe you'll get into a faction, no problem." And the factions are basically like everyone just created their own little faction. That way they can protect their own stuff. That's all it is.
Right.
So I accidentally crashed the server. I was fucking off, and I was trying some admin commands that apparently don't work after the update. Crash the server. Server comes back up, and then he jumps back on again, and everyone else gets back in. I'm like, "Oh, sorry guys, crash the server. I won't do that again. No problem." And then the guy's all like, he says some comment about Relay 1. And so I'm like, teleport Relay 1, basically, right? And so I teleport over there, and 2 of the solar panels are busted on it. And I was like, "Oh God, like someone hit it, But this guy had just got back in, and I had already, before he logged in, I went and found his other ship, like his spawn ship. He was nowhere near the relay. So I figured he might be all right. So I was like, "Hey man, do you need your ship back? I'll give you your ship back." And he goes, "Oh, I got my new ship. I'm good." I'm like, "Okay, cool." Then he made a comment about relay. And so I was like, "Oh, no, okay, I'm gonna go to the relay," because I still don't trust this guy. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, "Oh, there's damage to the thing." So I tell the guy who owns it, I was like, "Hey man, there's damage to the relay, but it still works, but you're missing 2 solar panels. So you might want to get that fixed." He's like, "Damn it, that sucks." And then all of a sudden just I see like a little yellow like thing just fly by the screen. I'm like, "What the fuck was that?" And I'm like, "Oh God, it's the fucking it's somebody trying to ram it," and he totally missed. And so I follow it, and it's like way off in the distance. And the guns are like aiming right at it. So I see the green light, like laser, like aiming right at in the area, but he's out of range. So it's like easy to spot him. And then he's all like, "Hey, are these things gonna shoot me?" or something like that, like making some comment. And so he's flying at the relay, and he's clearly trying to hit it. And so I enable the admin commands again. And as he's flying towards the relay, I basically control X his ship. And so like his ship disappears and he's still flying. Like his body, he's just like, he's like, "What the fuck? What just happened? What is going on? My ship." And I'm like, "You should probably go and learn how to play somewhere else." He's like, "No, I can explain." It's like, "No, fuck you, dude." It was glory. It was like whack-a-mole, because it was like trying to just get him just right as he was like coming into the screen, but like he was moving super fast, and you just see his ship just go bloop, just disappear.
Nice.
And his body flying. But anyways, yeah. So that's like pretty much all I've been. The only game I've really been playing, outside of like checking into Destiny, checking into WoW. But for the most part, yeah, it's just like running a dedicated server. That's some serious work, man.
We should play again sometime, and I will get a box of wine. It'll be great.
As long as you start at the beginning at 0.
No, I just want to go into one of your buildings and look around. I promise I won't dismantle the reactor or whatever I was trying to do.
Exactly. Exactly.
That was an interesting evening.
It was. I feel like we did you a disservice there, giving you your first taste of.
Everything was your fault.
I'm just saying. I know. Sometimes, you're not in the mood to learn. but yeah. So Space Engineers. The other game actually is funny because Shizzle and I were playing Space Engineers pretty regularly, but I knew that it was going to come to an end when H1Z1 came out. Yeah, you remember that game, right?
Yeah. No, I've been super excited for H1Z1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same.
Like it was the sort of game that like it started like we started hearing about it. And I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be like DayZ, but not built on this shitty Arma game. Like it's gonna be DayZ, but functional.
Yep.
And I haven't played it yet. It came out, and I've just been like, man, I could get H1Z. I should get H1Z1. I should get right after I check in on my garrison, and right after I run a few dungeons, and right after what, I'm tired.
Yeah, man.
Right after I watch 10 episodes of Bob's Burgers.
We so obviously Shizzle got in right away. And I watched him. The servers were fucked at the beginning, as they usually are, right?
Yeah.
No shocker there.
Was he one of the? I heard that like SOE had a whole bunch of streamers like lined up to just stream the game immediately when it came out, and none of them could because everything was broken.
Yeah, I mean, like people had like even I think Shizzle was like pushing like how many thousands? Like thousands and thousands of people watching the login screen. And like he wasn't alone.
Diablo 3 launch.
Yeah, he wasn't alone too, right? It was like it wasn't launching, and people really wanted to see it, myself included. Like I was excited for it. I still am actually interested in the game. Like seeing him play it, it's like okay. Like I watched a couple VODs, and he's actually pointed out a couple of things. Like I watched this highlight of him. There was an airdrop, which was a point of contention, I think, for a while there, a little bit. But I think they have it mostly under control. But the way the airdrops work is, you hear the plane coming in, and it was actually pretty neat. It was night. The sky was very dimly lit, and you could see the plane. You could see just a silhouette of the plane with some smoke coming up behind it. And Shizzle was like, "Oh, here we go! I gotta make some arrows. We're gonna go, and we're gonna take out this get the airdrop. Blah blah blah." And so he's making arrows real quick, and then he's running towards like where the drop zone's at, and he happens to be like within running distance there. But and once he gets close, he sees a group of other guys, like three other guys that are not sporting wood arrows, and they're going for the cash as well. And so it ended up being this big old fight, and he's basically trying to Robin Hood the thing, and he eventually loses, but he put up a really good fight and wounded the guy at least, but still, it wasn't quite as desolate feeling as DayZ. Like the airdrop thing, like I mean, that's the only clip that I saw where it was like, here is an arcadey style thing, that really, I was like, well, that's really cool. Like, cause you don't have to go for that, but if there's an airdrop, you at least know that if you're not going towards that, you'll be one of the few that are going away from it,
Right, yeah.
So it kind of removes some of the, just basically a little bit of the suspense, because you have more control. Like DayZ, it's like there's hardly ever anything that happens where people are going to flock to it.
Yeah.
There's no crowd control, anything. It's like somebody could be anywhere at any time.
Yeah, it's definitely true. I really need to look into it some more. I've just been super 100% like absorbed by WoW lately. So yeah.
What you doing in WoW?
Well, I just got my Alliance Druid to 100 because I decided I should have one of those for some reason. So that's 300s now, so I'm doing pretty good, I think. Dang!
Oh.
I could have like 4 more if I hadn't gone to the moon for a month.
The moon. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's just as cold.
It
Apparently.
is. Yeah. Did you hear?
Go ahead.
It's kind of funny. ESO's going like buy to play, like free to play,
like Guild Wars 2 style.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, there was a. This is like something that obviously had been planned, right? Like it's not a rash decision. Like they knew months ago that they were gonna do this.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they've been planning this since the game launched.
Yeah,
basically.
It's I mean, I think it's good for the game. I mean, when I played
yeah.
It was funny when I played it. It was like it wasn't really a bad game. I thought it was actually a relatively good game with a couple quirks. It's just I've played too many medieval fantasy, high fantasy games to be able to get into it. That was like my only problem.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of like sort of fantasy fatigue in the gaming industry right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the sort of thing like it definitely, I wouldn't call it a bad game, but it was a game that like as soon as I started playing it, I was like, oh, actually, I should just go play Skyrim, or I should go play Morrowind again, or I should go play Oblivion again, or something. Like I'd rather play any other Elder Scrolls game, because the problem that ESO has, for me at least, is it feels like an Elder Scrolls game. It feels like Skyrim, but with some extra weird restrictions, and occasionally you have to wait for someone else to play the game first. Like, you get up and you gotta fight this boss, but he's already dead, so you gotta stand around and wait for him to respawn, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's sort of, I don't know, and maybe this is just because I know it's an MMO sort of thing.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, as I'm running around and doing stuff, I don't feel nearly as epic about the stuff that I'm doing as I do in a game like Skyrim, where I know that it, like in Skyrim, I can wipe out this whole bunch of people and they're gone. In ESO, you can't really do that. So it makes me a little bit less interested to play it. I don't know. I may poke at ESO again, but I'm not sure.
So that's March 17th for the buy to play thing, which is, that's gonna be hitting us very quickly.
Yeah.
In June, there's the console, PS4 and Xbone, and like I could see it definitely working fine. We obviously with the controller. I'm really, really curious, because a lot of the Skyrim sales, like the lion's share of the Skyrim sales, I would say, first off, I would say within the first year of release, were console.
Right.
Like there was a graph or something like that, or some data that someone put out, and it was some stupid number, like 80-something% was console. And so it's like the console players, they might flock to it, and they might actually play it. I mean, I'm certain they'll buy it at least at a minimum, but
yeah, like it's possible that there's just a ton of people who only play games on console that haven't played it yet that are going to be super interested in it.
Yeah. And frankly, I don't know how much the game has changed since I played it.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
it was pretty buggy at launch, from what I heard.
Yeah. But I think what I liked about it most was being able to just kind of wander around and come across things that, for the most part, weren't like I wasn't underleveled for, or too underleveled for.
Yeah, like that's one thing that ESO definitely did pretty well, is like from an MMO perspective, is the sort of like living, breathing world sort of feel. Like you could just wander off some direction and find something to do.
Yep.
Which so many MMOs have gotten away from in favor of the like quest hub sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which was done for a reason, but it's nice to have some variety there, I think.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, so I'm interested to see how it plays and how people end up playing it on console. I might actually pick it up myself and give it another go. One of my coworkers actually he played the shit out of it. Like he's one of those guys that once he picks up a game, like he just goes balls deep. Like he'll play it until like it's so out of fashion, people have forgotten that it's out of fashion because the game is not talked about anymore.
He's the guy still playing Warcraft 3.
Yeah, he's like he played the crap out of that, and then he's playing Destiny, and he's still playing. He's not a good barometer for whether or not a game is popular, but yeah, he's still like playing it hard. But anyways, like like he's done like everything in the goddamn game, and so it's like all the things he talked about. It's like, oh man, that sounds really cool. I want to try that. Oh, that's really cool. I want to try that. But like, do I want to try that in the capacity of playing an MMO at my computer, or do I want to play that in this setup where I'm basically sitting on the couch and playing an MMO?
Right.
Like it's a totally different thing.
Yeah. Speaking of MMOs coming out on console, I don't know if you're
World of Warcraft announces right here. Here we go.
No,
I'm kidding.
no, better.
Oh, whoa.
No, not really. Did you hear that APB is coming out on Xbone and PS4?
What?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my god, APB.
Yeah, sometime
Reloaded.
Q2 supposedly. Like,
PS4
I really
Xbox.
liked APB Reloaded. Like once I forget the Gamers First or whatever picked it up, or Reloaded Productions, or whoever it is that's actually running the game now. Like once they took it over from Real Time Worlds, the game actually got really good. I really enjoyed playing it. The problem was just all the hackers. So if I can play the game on a console where it's at least much more difficult to hack,
A bit.
bit more difficult to hack,
bit.
then I am suddenly very excited.
That is, damn, that's some good ass news. It's funny. I just went into the APB MMO, right? And I have a joystick article here, and I went to the comments, and right as you were saying, it's so much better now. This comment here, it's all one of them. Of course, it's the most recent comment, so it's not even like a good one. I heard that ever since this was dropped by Real Time Worlds ages ago, the game is terrible now. It's like, what?
What?
Where were you when this game was launched? Obviously not playing APB.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like,
APB was a good game that had complete fuck all, the economy, everything else. The game was good. Everything else was just screwed up.
yeah, there's a reason that it launched and then shut down in the span of like 6 months.
Yeah, well, I think it was much less than that.
It
But
was
yeah,
it was
exactly.
like 4 months or something. It did not last long.
Oh yeah, it went to shit since then, dude. Yeah, we played what like now it's probably something like 2 years ago. But even then, it was super fun. Like just the stuff you could do. Just get on with a friend. You don't need to have like a posse. Get on with a friend and just go and just be dicks somewhere.
Yeah, and it's really cool how like the progression of the game is almost entirely centered around, at least the way that I was playing, almost entirely centered around cosmetic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to do these missions and I want to kill those guys and I want to do all this stuff so that I can get a new car to drive around for no reason other than I think it'll look really cool if I paint it hot pink and put a smiley face on the front of it.
A smiley face that I designed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then every time I kill somebody, it plays a jingle that I made.
Yeah.
Which is usually just like a fucking mass of keys. Just like random buttons.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is actually, it's funny. It's like, oh yeah, Issa's coming to consoles. Oh, that's cool. APB, what? Oh, shit. Oh, yeah. Dude, that's gonna be interesting. People are gonna be like, "Oh, it's like it's basically Grand Theft Auto, but with more customization." Like, yeah, there you go. That's the right thing.
Yeah,
that's a really
there you go.
Selling point.
The thing that I enjoyed about Grand Theft Auto multiplayer was that it reminded me of APB. And like after I played it, I was like, man, I kind of want to play some APB now.
I know, right? It's like I spent all this time like making my hot rod, lowering it, make it hot pink, and doing all this stuff, and it's like, damn, like if I could just, and then like I put my guild tag like in a specified, a designated area, like a preset area, I should say, or I could go to APB and completely wrap my car in like pictures of dicks if I wanted to.
Yep. All of the dicks.
Yep. just dicks. Oh man. Oh, good old APB.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. So I want to talk about. See, it's funny. I came back from CES and I was like pissed because I was like, damn it! Like I want to talk about CES, but you're not here.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay.
My bad.
So CES is obviously, it's kind of a general consumer show. It's called a consumer electronics show, which obviously in the name of itself should tell you that. But when you go there, I've gone a handful of times, probably like 5 times over the past decade or so, or decade and a half or something. I went 1 year as Trent Reznor. I thought that was kind of funny. I didn't even know what CES was. I just wanted to see if I could register for this popular thing as Trent Reznor, and I did.
Nice.
But when you go there, usually what you end up seeing is TVs that you'll not see for 3 years or something.
Yeah. This TV is curved. This TV does sit-ups.
Yeah. I actually saw Samsung pushing the ultra wide HD. So
I thought you were gonna say ultra curved for a second, because that's apparently the thing for TVs now. Is it's curved?
They had it curved, but it was ultra wide. So it was basically the 2.35 to 1 ratio, which is like the ultra letterbox that you see in like old movies and such, right?
Right.
I'm sorry, not old movies, just like movies in general.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was some of that. I actually had a picture. I took a picture of 8K, an 8K TV that was 89 inches, I think.
Wow.
It was beautiful. Obviously being run by like 15 display ports and like 12 different computers or something, but it was like up close. It looked really, really good. And then of course there's like there's cameras and there's all that stuff. Yeah, I got to go up and test all these cool lenses. And some of them, I mean, like I was thinking on it, I was like, oh, it's a fucking lens, like on a body, like whatever, like it's probably not gonna be that great. And it was really, really good. Like just how quick it focused and how it tracked and everything. I mean, I know this is like, not necessarily related, but it was really awesome. But yeah, one of the obviously one of the things that you see there, which it's not necessarily a staple and it's not like a major part of it, but it's there, is gaming. And what was interesting about gaming and the associated electronics was the fact that, or devices to say, was that there were 0 PCs, and there were also 0 laptops. Like if you went to CES and you saw a laptop, like good for you. I'm saying 0 because there was not like a showcase of look at this awesome laptop,
right,
or look at this awesome PC. It just was not there. As a matter of fact, the only place I saw it was when I went up to talk to the Origin PC guys, and they actually didn't have a booth. They just had a hotel room, right, which is pretty common when you go to these things. And I saw all these really cool. They have like a lot of really, really cool things they're doing with like with laptops and whatnot. But that was the only place I saw laptops and PCs. So as I'm walking around, it's like everything was either a wearable device, or, well, I mean, it was pretty much like wearable devices. It's like something
right,
that you could hold in your hand to carry with you or wear. Obviously, there was a ton of watches. Everyone's trying to get ahead on that. There was Toshiba has their own Toshiba Glass, right, like Google Glass. There were so many VR products, like it was dumb. Like everything from like, so Ender, one of the guys I work with, he's like, hey man, check out this VR thing, whatever. He sent me a link to his VR headset. I was like, okay, cool, yeah, I'll go check it out. Surely there's not that many. It'd be easy for me to find it. No, I was wrong. Everything, man. Like there was so much. VR is like everywhere. Yeah. Mobile devices, obviously everywhere. Like different types of tablets and different types of whatever. And it was like, I was like, damn, man. Like the thing is, when you go to your CES, you're, like I said, you're looking at things that you won't see for years. But you also need to look at trends. Now, I'm not stupid. I know that the hardcore gamer is not going anywhere. So honestly, the majority of you that are listening to this, you're not going anywhere. Almost all of you, as a matter of fact. We will always have our PCs to the point to where we're going to be all like curmudgeon and shitty about it, you know?
PC Master Race, etc.
Exactly. We will always be this way. This is our generation. But if CES is any indication in terms of like the direction that the industry is going,
which is kind of the whole point of CES. So
yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Your average household that where you would normally have a PC or a laptop or something. Well, now, a lot of households are basically just like tablets for their PCs. And so what happens, the people that own the tablets, obviously they've used PCs. Sure, they have, of course. But they're kids that are growing up on, and I'm talking like between the ages of maybe like, 0, obviously, and like 10, who have all their favorite games on tablets, and everything they want to do on tablets or mobile devices or whatever. Like, they are not going to use, or they're not going to give a shit about PCs. Like, yeah. I mean, my son, like, every time he sees a screen, he wants to touch it. Like, he doesn't, like, the whole, like, move a mouse things, like, whatever. Like, I can't touch a screen. Like, that's weird. And it's funny. It made me think of in Back to the Future 2, when he was playing that crack shot game, whatever, right? He's like, oh, yeah, I'm a crack shot, this kid, right? Playing that shooting game. And the kid's all like, oh, you have to use your hands. That's like a child's toy or something like that. It's actually kind of the opposite. It's like, oh, you have to use your hands. That's like my grandpa's toy,
Yeah. But, yeah, it was funny, like, you're talking about that. I was thinking about it. Like, we live in an age where people are buying routers for their internet connections for their iPads. Mm-hmm. Like, they don't have a computer that they're piping their internet into. They don't have a laptop that they're piping their internet into. They have a smart TV and an iPad.
Yes. Yep.
And, like, it's just funny to me, like, thinking about it. Like, the idea of needing to get internet access for your iPad or your tablet or whatever. Like, I was just thinking about it. I was like, that's weird. Like, why wouldn't you would just have the internet, surely. Like, you would have had to have it for some other reason. Oh.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so when I was breaking this down, so I came up with my headline, right? Like, if I was like a sensationalist writer or something, I would say, PC gaming is doomed, right? Because it's kind of true, right? We are all essentially a product of our experiences. Everything we are right now, like, we weren't necessarily born. Sure, there's some chemical stuff, whatever, that maybe changes the way you approach things, but you're a product of your experiences. I grew up playing, obviously consoles, and then obviously, PCs, technically Mac, and then and now I'm into obviously PCs and consoles, because that's just who I am, and you are obviously the same. Kids like my kid, and like the people who are like, who CES is apparently like catering to, which is everybody, the consumer. Right. Those kids are going to, grow up where the most primitive thing is going to be the touchscreen, not, you playing Wolfenstein 3D using the arrow keys.
Yeah. Yeah, like we, in one of the first episodes of this podcast, we were talking about Destiny and like using mouse and keyboard versus using a controller. And which one was better, it doesn't matter. It's whichever one that you're more accustomed to personally. Mm-hmm. And like thinking about like your kid is going to be like, no, I want to play on a touch screen. Yep. Like, I want to play my first person shooter on a touch screen where I drag around and there's areas that I tap to shoot stuff. And it's just like, why would you ever prefer that over these other options? It's just because that's what kids are growing up on these days. And
it's funny. Part of that conversation was because it was like the whole like keyboard and mouse like versus controller argument that I think you and I got into. Like I think my argument was that anybody that spends enough time with a certain device is going to be proficient enough at it that they are going to be better than you at that game because of that. And can you imagine, like, it's inevitable. These people who are playing first-person shooters on touchscreens with no tactile feedback whatsoever, they are probably better than you at first-person shooters. Like, they will be. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, like you can right now you can download Shadowgun on a mobile device, and there's a multiplayer version of it. I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head. But there's several games that are like that now.
Modern Combat,
yeah, Battle Bears. Like, there's a whole bunch of games that are shooters on smartphones, and you'll go into that and just get dominated by people because they've played this a lot. They're probably 8. They've been playing this a ton, and they are better than you will ever be at this game because just for whatever reason they've gotten so accustomed to the feel of, I drag my left thumb around on the screen to move where I'm aiming. I tap with my right thumb to shoot, that they're 1,000 times faster at it than you will ever be, and it's crazy to think about.
Yep. Yeah.
Like when you think about it, like we like to talk about how like, oh, the best way to play a shooter is mouse and keyboard, right? Like that's generally the mantra is first person shooters. You're always going to be like the fastest you could ever possibly be is with a mouse and keyboard. But what if you could just point at the thing and then you shoot it? Like that seems pretty fast too.
Yeah. Yeah. What if it's as fast as you could swipe? You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's difficult to argue against it. Yeah, it's just one of those things that, you know, these kids are going to grow up and they're going to be that fucking good.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. Like, I played Modern Combat, like 3, I think, and I got served in multiplayer, like hard, and I was like, damn, like, how are these guys this freaking good? Like, it's not like there's, you know, bots or aim bots for like iOS or anything. Like they're actually hitting me. This sucks.
Yeah.
So yeah, PC gaming is doomed eventually. But it's one of those things that it won't change. It won't change for all of us PC master racers, because for the same reason why I still listen to 90s grunge and hip hop.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just something
like,
we'll
the games won't go. The existing games won't go away.
Exactly.
And there will continue to be new games. It just may start to taper off in favor of more of the like mobile and so on.
Yep.
VR games.
VR. Oh my god. Like it's funny, like not just VR headsets, like full on VR experiences, because there was a ton of those, but there was like hundreds of the and I know you've seen it, where you slide a phone into the front of it and the phone becomes the actual VR device. Yeah,
it was like Google Cardboard or something, which was this thing that did you ever hear about that?
Oh, I did, yeah.
Yeah, like Google would send, it was like $4 or something, and Google would just send you some bits of cardboard that you put together into something that you would then slide your phone into, which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
And there's like the Samsung's Oculus thing now, and the Samsung VR.
Yeah, Samsung's got theirs. Oculus, obviously. Morpheus from PlayStation. There were Razer's got their open source one. It's crazy. Like, everybody is getting into this market, and it's just the way things are going to be. And you know, I know you've seen the HoloLens thing that Windows is talking about. Like, seeing that, it's like, oh, obviously, like seeing the way that stuff functioned, like in that video, which, you know, some of the reviews are saying that it does work like that. Like, it is actually pretty impressive. But what they're not saying is, and you know, I'm going to assume, because I wasn't there, that there's like giant cables hanging off this thing. And it's being run by a bunch of computers.
Battery life 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. But like, it's that kind of augmented reality. Like, that's, to me, it's like, oh yeah, no brainer. Like, that would totally be the way to do things.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like watching the like you always sort of think about like augmented reality. I guess that could be kind of interesting. Like little things pop up around me, like that's cool. Like I can look in a direction and like get driving. Like the more you think about it, the more cool stuff you can come up with. Like I can while I'm driving for navigation, I can just look and it will say like have like arrows in the road and ahead of you and stuff.
Yeah.
And like in the HoloLens video, they showed somebody playing Minecraft, but it was just like blocks that was on his floor that he was just like picking them up and moving them around. It's like, that's kind of cool. That's the most high-tech way to do the most low-tech thing possible. I can't wait for the Legos app for HoloLens so you can finally play Legos.
I know, right? Like, I mean, the best part about that is that you wouldn't have to worry about.
You wouldn't have
like,
to step on them.
Not yet. Well, yeah. Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't step on them. You wouldn't have to clean them up. And you could just, I guess, manifest like, you know, a piece that you need in a color that you want.
Yeah. And there's like no cleaning them up, and you could save it. So be like, oh, I need another little car to put here, and just like whip out a car that's already constructed and stuff.
Oh,
that could be cool.
These fucking kids.
Yeah.
They got so much cool shit.
Yeah.
I remember back when I had my 5-gallon drum.
Yeah.
Of assorted colors.
Yeah.
Like there was no mix. Yeah. And I would make Airwolf. I had so many different Airwolves that I would make. I was such a Airwolf chunky, man. I made so many Airwolves, like, and they were never all black because I didn't have enough black pieces.
Nice.
But yeah, now these kids could just throw on the HoloLens and just do that. Yeah. Some of that stuff was really neat though, like on hanging on the wall. Like you figure it's funny. You there have been these video demonstrations of people that would use projectors to basically create things in an empty room.
Yeah.
Right. You've seen that.
Yeah.
And this is basically taking it to the next level because the projector is not really a feasible option. Like, not accessible. Like, the house have to be dark, and it just doesn't work. You walk in front of the projector, and suddenly you can't see the thing you're reaching for. You know, like, it just doesn't work. But this concept of basically having it just put a layer on your reality, like, that is neat, man. Like, I could check my mail by like having an area on my desk. You know what? It looks like this thing. What was it called? It's this music device. It's basically like a kind of like a flat table, and you place these little things that basically have different purposes. Like one's a tone generator, one is an LFO, one is like a pattern generator. Bjork uses this thing a lot for her live shows.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like that, where it's like you are creating something using virtually nothing. And it has this interactivity, or these interactable pieces that are basically nothing. Like, that is fucking cool.
Yeah.
I hope that Microsoft could pull that off.
Yeah, definitely. My only real concern with the whole VR and augmented reality thing is that, like, since so many different people are doing it at the moment, like, that's the sort of thing that if, like, unless there ends up being a clear winner, that can kind of hurt the actual progression of things. Because if, like, so say there's the Oculus VR, and there's, like, for the sake of argument, we'll say the Samsung VR isn't based on Oculus technology. So there's Oculus VR, there's a Samsung VR, there's Razer's thing, there's Toshiba's thing, there's, I don't know, Apple's thing, and so on and so forth. And all these different versions of VR come out. If you can't, like, unless there's a solid, like, standard for it, yeah. Like, you develop your game, but it only works on the Samsung VR. Mm-hmm. So, and Samsung VR, just by virtue of the fact that there's 4,000 different versions of these things out there, is only 10% of the market share. And that's the biggest one, so that's what you went after.
Yeah. Sort
of thing. Like, it can start to cause problems. So that's my only really concern with seeing all this VR stuff pop up. Not that I don't want VR stuff, but that I don't want it to end up being like some sort of weird, super fragmented thing where everybody ends up just doing their own first party stuff because no third party developers are willing to get on board with anything.
Yeah, it's like and this is a very it's funny, this is a very real concern. It's like HD DVD versus Blu-ray.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that HD DVD eventually lost, like people would be turned off to the format. Now, granted, everything's basically digital now, but this has happened before, like with the mini disc versus MP3. Like those two things came out at like the same time. It was mini disc and mini disc, like, we could fit the exact same amount of time you put on a CD into a smaller, more durable format. I actually have a ton of mini discs. I totally bought into that thing. And then it was like, oh, well, this MP3 technology with like all this stuff. It's like, well, we could put MP3s on these mini discs now. Oh, this is crazy. And it's like, oh, well, I could also just like have like a giant hard drive full of things. So it was like, well, that's it. It's done. So it's like these things, these are very real concerns, because if somebody doesn't win, then it will just essentially, die because it's not accessible by the consumer.
Yeah.
Like
and
TV is the same. You can buy any TV. It's going to work basically the same.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes the worst format can actually win in the like format wars and such. Like VHS won over Betamax.
Beta.
Yeah. And Betamax was like, it was better, it was clearer, it was more durable, like it lasted longer. It didn't have a ton of the problems that VHS had, but it wasn't like Betamax wasn't marketed very well. It had like these weird licensing restrictions and stuff to even be able to use it. So everybody said, well, screw it, we're going to go to VHS instead. And we were stuck with tracking issues for ages. And like, don't copy this video too many times or else it becomes impossible to actually see the original anymore, sort of thing. Like, we ended up with all the shitty problems that VHS had, which you now use as visualizations for music videos.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It became a staple of our in terms of like, visual effects and weird things that we can do.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like maybe Microsoft's thing ends up being like super amazing and absolutely everybody like, this is the best thing that could ever be, but it costs too much, or it costs too much for developer. It's almost always money related.
Yeah.
It just costs too much to develop for it, or it costs too much to actually buy one of these things. So it ends up not taking off, and we miss out on this cool technology, and instead we're stuck with something that's not quite as good because of costs or greed or something. I don't know. Yeah, so it's just a concerning thing to kind of try and keep an eye on.
Yeah, like right now we have in terms of like open, we should mention Razer, because Razer's an open platform. I don't know much about what they're offering, but outside of them, like there's Oculus and Morpheus, pretty much.
Right.
And I think Samsung's got their thing, but
I think Samsung's thing is based on Oculus, though. Like it's weird because it will only work with like Samsung phones and stuff.
Yeah, and see that's yeah. Oh, that thing. Yes, that's right.
So that I don't expect to actually be very successful.
Yeah, exactly. Between those two, though, like the thing that Oculus is getting right is the fact that I can just plug it into my computer. And as long as the game can, create those two like orb-shaped feeds for the lens to basically wrap around my peripheral, like then it works. That's it. The developer basically just has to create a port view for their game, and ta-da! Like now it'll work for the game. I mean, there's more to it, of course, than that, but still, it's easy for any developer to go and develop for that. Morpheus is going to be tied into the PlayStation, so it's only going to work for the PlayStation. Microsoft has tied themselves into now the HoloLens. Like, they're not going to release a standard VR or anything. They're going to go right for the HoloLens.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny, like, with all this stuff, like, Google Glass has sort of fallen off of the radar entirely, almost. And I think it's just because they took too long to do anything with it.
It has. Yeah, I've used it. It's not bad, but it's like I think the fact that it's so gaudy looking Like it's a turn off.
Yeah.
And actually, Google Glass is actually they've ceased selling the product.
Yeah.
And they're moving on to start developing Google Glass 2, excuse me, which is going to they're going to try to address the concerns. Like I think the glass hole thing like really hurt them. Like
yeah. Like it looks kind of funky. Like it has that sort of look to it that makes everybody immediately go, "Oh, that's weird." And not that the HoloLens thing really, I think, is going to look any like the. I noticed in the video that they never really showed the front of the person's face who was wearing the HoloLens. It was always like from behind looking at something. So I'm really curious what the front of that thing looks like and if it's going to be every bit as weird as Google Glass was. But yeah, like Glass was... It had the problem of, like, when they were still selling it, it was ridiculously expensive. Like, very few people would ever have bought one of those things.
The early adopters.
Yeah, like, there were the early adopters, and there was a bunch of, like, press and so on that managed to get a hold of them, and people with, like, crazy disposable income who were like, this is an expensive thing I can buy. And that's about it. And you still don't see them very often anywhere, really. And I don't know, I think that they kind of just, they had the idea and now other people are trying to capitalize on it. So they really need to sort of go back to the drawing board with it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's, I would love to, if it didn't have that crazy, like, thing protruding from the front, it would actually, it would totally be something that I would totally use that. Like, just even if it was something as simple as just give me notifications that, like I got a text, like show me what the text is. Like, it doesn't have to be even crazy. The same shit that's supported on my, on like an average Android watch.
Yeah.
Like, let me see that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's the whole wearables thing.
I think that a lot of what Glass originally was ended up getting sort of off, like, it ended up being that this weird, awkward thing that you were wearing on your face was just not a great way to disseminate that information. And it makes more sense to have it in a watch that you just glance at and then you look away from again, instead of constantly having it in front of you. Also, the whole voice activation thing is just, I would much rather have a phone app that I have to pull out my phone and then I can do stuff with my virtual reality or augmented reality headset. Then have to be like, okay, Glass, take a picture. Okay, Glass, send a text message. Okay, Glass, do all this other shit. Like, I don't know, it just feels super awkward to me. Like, I would always be like, is someone going to think that I'm standing here talking to myself? Like,
well, I mean, it's funny you say that because Bluetooth headsets kind of helped eliminate most of that. Like, people are like, oh, he's talking on his headset or something.
Yeah, sort of, but like... Yeah, I guess.
By the way, when's the last time you saw someone use a Bluetooth headset?
Yeah, it's been a while.
That's so weird.
It's always the sort of thing that, like, when you see someone using a Bluetooth headset, you're kind of like, what a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
He's just
funny.
Walking along shouting to himself.
Yeah, what's funny was that we went through this period where, like, Bluetooth headsets were, like, hot and new back in, like, 2003 to 2005. They were,
People were wearing Bluetooth headsets that didn't have cell phones because they were cool.
Yeah, exactly. And it was this thing where it's like people were like, "Oh, I thought he was talking to himself." It's like it was still new, but like people that were in, like they knew it was hot, and then it became like, oh yeah, Bluetooth headset from like 2000. I would say 2005 to 2008. It was like, oh yeah, whatever. If he's talking to himself, it's a Bluetooth headset. I wouldn't see it later, 2010.
Yeah,
it's like okay, no big deal. And then after that, it was all like now it's like. 2010 and beyond, it's like if he's talking and you don't see, a phone or whatever, it's just kind of like, why isn't he texting?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what does he have to say that he has to talk so much? He should just text him.
Yeah. Why can't he just hold his phone?
I know, right? It's so weird, man.
The only time that I would ever use a Bluetooth headset myself is if I'm driving. And my car has Bluetooth already, so I don't need that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. There is no point, man.
Yeah.
It's like if you have a Bluetooth headset, it's like, oh, you're too poor to afford like a decent car, or like something. It's like I would rather talk using my iPhone headphones. Like the wired ones, my earbuds.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather use that than use a fucking Bluetooth headset. It's like because at least it's dual purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Bluetooth headsets, man.
So speaking of Bluetooth headsets, actually this is kind of related to the HoloLens thing we were talking about. Windows 10, like Microsoft had their whole thing recently. They were talking about Windows 10. I thought that was pretty cool. They're actually giving Windows 10 for free to anybody who has Windows 7 or Windows 8 and updates in the first year.
I thought that was interesting, the first year thing. I wonder what that's about.
Yeah, I think that's like... I think that's a strategic thing because their goal with this isn't necessarily to make sure that everybody gets on Windows 10. Their goal is to make sure that when Windows 10 comes out, it has a good installed user base. Yeah. So that immediately developers will be like, yes, I should develop for Windows 10. Their goal isn't to give away Windows 10 for free forever and like make it so that everybody can get Windows 10. It's to make sure that when it first launches, there's enough of an installed user base that developers are going to immediately start working on developing things for Windows 10 versus saying, oh, we'll hold off for now because XP is still fine.
And that's God damn. And that makes a lot of sense because if you give people, if you give them a deadline, then the procrastinators will not procrastinate indefinitely.
Yeah.
They'll procrastinate until the last second. So basically what they said is, in this year, we're going to convert X% of our user base. And that's it. You're right. That makes a lot of sense. And
and even the procrastination ends up being a lot faster because, like myself, if Windows 10 came out and it was free to upgrade at any point, like I'd go, oh yeah, I should get that later. Oh yeah, I should get that later. After I check my garrison, I'll get Windows 10. After I do 10 hours of dungeons, I'll get Windows 10. And I would probably not actually upgrade to Windows 10 until I had to, really. Until something happened and I was like, crap. Well, I guess now is it like my computer breaks and I have to reformat and reinstall. I'll be like, well, I might as well get Windows 10 at this point.
Yep.
But with that year deadline, I'm going to get Windows 10 on day one. I'm not going to wait any amount of time at all. I'm going to be like, oh, Windows 10 came out. Yes, I should get that now, just in case I forget.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I will look at the way I usually rate like these like the upgrades, and this is I haven't upgraded Windows 8 because I always skip one. I think a lot of people do that. They skip one. They go with the good ones. They skip the next one. What I look at is you have your core things that you always do that you absolutely need to make sure work on the new OS, right? And then there's the tertiary things. There's like, well, if I ever decide to go and, I don't know, launch HyperCard emulator for some reason, which nobody will know what that is, then, I want to make sure that works on Windows 10 or the next OS, whatever. Well, now it's like, well, I could look at it like now that there's this limit of people that can time for developers to go and do stuff. Like every developer is going to get their ass kicked because everyone's going to be converting, and it's not a matter of I can stick with this because the developer still has it for this whatever. Like that developer's going to be getting his ass kicked.
Yeah,
because everybody's going to convert over.
Yep, and immediately if your little indie game doesn't work on, if Soda Drinker Pro doesn't work on Windows 10, that guy is in trouble.
Exactly. Yeah, you know what? Like that's actually a really good point. Like I know that Windows 7 to Windows 8 wasn't that big of a deal, not big of a jump. And one of the main reasons why I think one of the main reasons why they're doing it for free is because supporting legacy OSs is kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime you go download a driver, especially for like a piece of hardware, you're gonna see Windows 7 drivers, and you're also gonna see Windows 7 32, 64, and then of course you're gonna see Windows 8, Windows 8.1, blah blah blah. That's a lot of shit. Like they have to code to support these platforms. So if you convert the majority of your install base over, then you don't have to necessarily support the legacy stuff because it's it's free.
Yep. Yep. It's the sort of thing that at that point you're like, why aren't you on Windows 10? Here's how you get your Windows 7 driver. Step 1, get Windows 10. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, exactly. That's gonna be pretty interesting. I probably won't do it right away. I'll probably wait until whereas before I would wait for all the tertiary stuff to be supported. Now it's like, well, I might as well just go ahead and just get it because I know that the other stuff will follow.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll wait a week or so because I still don't want to be like, right, day one adopting. Okay, Windows 10 doesn't work. I've now hosed my computer. Yeah, that would be bad. Like, I want
to work.
Yeah, I want to make sure that all the like major programs that I desperately need to use are going to be working, like OBS and Skype and so on.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. That's the core stuff for sure.
Yeah.
HyperCard emulator, not so much.
Yeah.
Not at all.
You never know.
Mac OS 7, not so much.
Yeah. So this other thing that I wanted to talk about, at least briefly, is this Exploding Kittens game.
Oh, right. Yes, that's right. So all I've heard is holy shit money.
Yeah. They came out and they were like, right, we're gonna make this card game, and all we really need, and I thought actually I'm a huge fan of this approach to a Kickstarter, is they're like, all we really need to make this happen is $10,000. That's what it's gonna cost us to produce this game. So that's what we're gonna ask for. Maybe we make some more after that, but we're not going to sit down and say, you know what? I think we could probably make $200,000 off of this game. So we should ask for that in our Kickstarter so that people donate for it. No, it was just like, no, we only need 10,000, so that's all we're going to ask for. And holy crap, did that pay off? They were 100% funded in 20 minutes. They got their 10th, and I mean, obviously, this is, if anybody listening isn't familiar, this is a game that is being created by Ellen Lee and Shane Small, and this little guy you might have heard of. His name is Matthew Inman. He runs the Oatmeal. It's some website that I don't know. I guess it's pretty popular. But yeah, like I'm being facetious. The Oatmeal is huge, and everybody wants this game. Apparently, it is just the number. I'm trying to find the thing that they sent out, which had some details on it. They sent an email a couple of days ago. It appears to not even be working anymore, so that may not actually work out. But here we go. It is, as of yesterday, it was the 22nd most funded campaign ever. The number 11 most funded game ever. And the number 1 most funded card game ever.
Oh, man.
And that was 48 hours into their Kickstarter.
Oh, man.
At the time, they were... I don't even remember where they were at that point. It was like $2 million, $2.5 million, and 80,000 backers or something like that. They're now up to 92,000 backers as I'm looking at the site right now. 92,000 backers and $3.6 million pledged of their $10,000 goal. Like, it's crazy. And it's just for a card game. Like, it's just a whole lot of people want this card game, I think.
It's... You know, it was funny. So first off, the core concept of it is you draw cards until you draw a cat, and then then that's it. You're out, right?
Yeah.
Unless, like, it's funny because like when you read it, it's misleading because like if you draw an Exploding Kitten card, that's it. You're done. You're out of the game. And then you scroll down, it's like, unless. And it's like, oh, okay, good, there's more here. Because at that point, it just feels like every random shitty game you get from like from Toys R Us, where like you do something until it explodes or something happens or it pops. And everyone's like, oh god, that's it. I was the last person that triggered this random RNG thing. I lost. Unless you have a card that counters whatever it is. So an example that I'm not even looking at the site, but like if the cat has an Acme TNT and you have water to diffuse it or something or whatever to pour on the fuse or some shit, I don't know, but it's like something like that. Like if you were able to defuse it, then it's like, oh, you survived. It actually looks like a pretty fun game. Yeah,
there's also this stuff like just weird extra cards that you can play that's like, look at the top 3 cards and rearrange them in any order that you want so that you can be like, I'm gonna screw the guy next to me with the kitten because I don't think he can do anything like it or do anything about it. And like skipping your turn and shuffling things and so on. So it does seem like it's a pretty fun game, and also it's the oatmeal, so
yeah,
it's bound to be entertaining. I think what I think is really funny, and also kind of heartwarming in a weird, awful way about this thing, is that so the bottom 2 tiers are the bottom tier is $20. It's just you just get the Exploding Kittens deck, just the base game. And then at $35, you get the base game and also what they're calling the NSFW deck, the Not Safe for Work deck,
right?
Which is it's the game, and then there's some extra cards that you can put in there that are like extra raunchy or whatever. That they were like, oh, this is we can't include this in our ages 7+ normal game, so we'll put them in this other deck instead. The base game has 6,600 backers. The base game plus Not Safe for Work deck has 84,000.
Holy shit!
It's like, good work, the internet. You're very predictable, aren't you?
A smidge, exactly, a smidge. Dude, card games are like it's kind of like people are trying to tell us to make friends IRL.
Yeah.
like Cards Against Humanity, obviously still a huge thing. Everyone owns Cards Against Humanity, right?
Yeah.
You do too, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
I did. I left it in Michigan with my friends there. So my friends in Michigan have my Cards Against Humanity decks.
Yeah.
It's
so
fine.
You did. And obviously, there's like this, and there's a couple others, like Say Anything, and a couple others. But there's one actually I found out about recently that I cannot remember the name, and I'm hoping to God that somebody that's listening to this can tell me what the name is. But I was at a party, and we were talking about Cards Against Humanity, and he was like, oh my God, I'm playing this game. And he said the name, which obviously that part's gone. What it is you are given basically like a scenario or like a thing. I don't know what it is. Basically like just a random thing. And so first off, in Cards Against Humanity, what happens is you basically pick like, a card to fill in the blanks, right?
Right.
And the person that has the best card, usually the raunchiest or something, is the one that wins. Well, in this game, you have to create a scenario on how you would how you would handle a situation. So it's much more freeform. So the example that he gave me was you have fallen out of a plane. Don't ask. You're falling now to your death. How do you survive? And it was like, oh wow, how do I fucking survive? Okay. And he said the example that he was given was, or how someone would survive is, he would somehow drop a bunch of One Direction tickets on the ground, like a ton of them, like front row, right, backstage, One Direction tickets, and there would just be hordes of teenage girls just piling all over it and fighting, and they'd be just murdering each other, and they'd create piles and top each other, and eventually they'd create a pile large enough that when you would land, you would actually be cushioned by all of the corpses of the dead fans of One Direction, and then you would survive. And I was like, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, like that was just somebody just made that up on the and that was their answer to this question, and it was the most hilarious thing because you just make that stuff up on the fly, and I was like, wow, I want to play this game, whatever it's called.
Yeah, you have to play that with creative friends.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That would be a pretty shitty game to play with somebody who's like, I would look for a parachute.
I would not fall to my death and go back
I would aim for water.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's these games are like popping up all over the place, and I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it's we've been seeing a lot of like innovation in card games lately too, which is really cool. Like I have this Pathfinder RPG card game, which is cool because it's like taking a lot of the concepts from a pen and paper RPG and making it into a card game that you like play cooperatively, and like you have a set of cards that ends up being your deck, but instead of like a deck building game where like Magic or whatever, or Hearthstone even, where you like go through and you pick out the best cards and put all the best cards in my deck. You start with like a basic deck and you have all these other cards, but like unless you're a stupid cheater, you don't get to just put whatever you want in your deck. You have to like earn them. So like as you're playing the game, you can like pick stuff up and you're like, oh cool, now I have this extra sword or something. I have this better shield or this potion that I found. And then you put that in your deck, and then you just continually make your character, like you're building up your character, which is your deck, by getting all this other stuff and earning experience and so on. And it's really cool. It's just neat to me to see card games becoming like it's a persistent card game.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, an MMC. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's not really massive. But yeah, it's a neat concept.
It makes me want to go and make friends.
Yeah,
like local friends.
Yeah, that's the problem I have. Is I have this Pathfinder card game, and I was playing it with Chris Hannell and IRL Jasmine, and then they moved to where you are.
Oh, that's right. I forgot they moved up here. Yeah.
So now I can't really play that with them very easily anymore.
Yeah, but yeah, obviously. God, yeah. Even Cards Against Humanity has an online version.
Yeah. They're apparently working on some like iPad version of this Pathfinder card game, which I'm kind of excited for.
Let's check it out. So, I think that was me throwing down a stack of things.
You think?
That was me throwing down a stack of things.
Yeah, but
I was always saying, yeah.
Yeah, you said you think that's what that was.
Did I say that?
Are you unsure of
I'm certain that I am throwing down a thing of things.
I don't know.
A stack of things.
I don't know if I can trust you anymore.
To bring in the end of the show, I think.
Oh, okay.
It's been oh, did you have something else? I'm sorry.
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
It just seemed like the thing to say at the time.
It's funny, the last episode when we were talking about how you were going to be gone for a long time. And I knew I was going to CES. I knew I would be gone just a little bit, but you were definitely gone for 3.5 weeks or something. So
yeah,
we wouldn't have a show for a bit. I think the fact that I didn't title it "Laura will not be here for 3 weeks," or don't get your hopes up, no shows for 3 weeks or something. Like the fact that I didn't make it clear. So many people are like, "Where's the show? Where's the show?" And it's like, "Oh, it's coming. It's coming."
Yeah. We did make the mistake of not talking about that until the very end of the show.
Exactly. Yes.
Which was like an hour and a half long.
Yeah, that was our fault, guys.
Yeah, sorry. We'll do better next time.
But it's good to have you back.
Yeah, the internet.
Yeah. What are you? So what you gonna go do?
I might just sit on the couch and watch some TV. Might watch some Bob's Burgers.
This is a good show.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it. It's the sort of show that when you read the description, you're like, oh, it's about some guy and his burger restaurant and his kids. That sounds boring. But then it's actually amazing, and his kids are the worst people, and that is awesome.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah, like the show is about it's about this guy and his wife. The guy is voiced by H. John Benjamin, by the way, who's the same guy who does the voice for Archer.
Oh, okay.
So the whole time there was actually an episode of Archer that referenced Bob's Burgers. Like pretty heavy. Like Archer woke up and he had amnesia and he thought he was Bob from Bob's Burgers, basically.
I wasn't even like trying to be elusive or anything.
Yeah, no, he like the other characters were there. It was pretty funny. But yeah, like this guy and his wife have this burger shop, and they're all a little bit weird,
Right.
but like the kids are hilarious. Like they're not like like Kristen Shaw is one of them. And she's crazy because she's Kristen Shaw. They definitely did a very good job in like typecasting the voice actors and stuff. It's just really good. You should check it out. I watched like one episode and I was like, well, that wasn't too bad. And I watched 2 episodes. I was like, that was pretty good. And then like the 3rd episode, I was just losing my shit. So,
Well, shit.
yeah, you should check it out.
I just watched Backstrom. It's got Dwight from Office.
Oh, right on.
And I watched it and I was like, it's definitely House M Dwight. But it's I'm gonna give it one more episode because it felt really super forced. And you know, Dwight is Dwight. Like, it's really hard to see him do anything else.
Yeah.
Even though he's still a dick in the show. The whole point.
I watched an episode of I watched the first episode of Broadchurch, and it's got David Tennant. And the whole time I was like, and this is the part where he gets in his TARDIS, right? He's just gonna pull out his sonic screwdriver and fix everything, right?
Oh man, yeah, that is seeing your characters like in other roles. It's like, no, don't do that ever.
Yeah.
Well,
Shit.
Yeah, I guess it's the end of the show if we're talking about what we're watching on TV. All right.
Yeah.
Oh.
We've reached the point of the show where we don't really have any reason to continue talking.
You could have stopped listening 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Well,
but you saw that there was another 5 minutes of this show,
and you kept listening,
and you got your hopes up.
Yep.
And we warned you. God damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, but you kept going.
Yeah.
You kept going. You know, so I was listening to Incubus Science, the Science album, right?
Right. One of their better albums, I think.
Yeah, it was their, I think it was their second full release, but it was like still that was the album before they really got picked up.
Yeah.
Right? I think one song got picked up from that, and then after that all their songs sound like that one song.
Yes.
At the very end, there's a song called Calgon, right? And it's 16 minutes. So first off, the entire album is great. Like in terms of like lyrically and musically, it's really great and fun to listen to. But Calgon like just takes it way fucking overboard. Like this whole song is about like he was just driving down the road and he's clearly high as fuck and he got abducted by aliens and now he's pissed himself. What is happening with my life, right? He's like, what the hell, you know? And then it goes into this like, and then it kind of breaks down into this like really, 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 really fucking weird acid trip induced fucking mix for like 10 minutes of just weird shit. And like, if you know Incubus from the Make Yourself album on, where they're kind of serious. They're making hit songs and whatnot. Like this shit would blow your mind because it is so fucking weird and random. Like he does a fucking Karate Kid rap, like in the middle of this thing, and it's just like random beats and random sounds and random whatever, and it's just like, what the weird shit the fuck is going on? And yeah, everyone should go and listen to it. Listen to Calgon and read the lyrics and everything because it's fucking weird. And then definitely stay tuned after that song because I guess you could probably just go look up hidden track for Incubus Science and you'd probably find it. But it is fucking weird. And I felt like I needed to share that with you because we have nothing else to talk about.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well,
and
thank you.
It. Yep.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. That's all I got.
All right.
Got any other cool stories?
Not really.